Do you love snacking, and do you find that your love of snacking makes it really hard for you to lose weight and you tend to crave more snacks, especially when you're on a diet or when you're feeling stressed out, busy, or whatever it is with work and family and everything else that you have going on? You just want to find a way to be able to eat snacks, know what healthy snacks to eat, and still be able to lose weight. If that's you, then you're in the right place. We are live from the studio with Coach Munir. Well, actually, it's not live, although I do these videos in one take. And I have a really nice slideshow for you guys today, inshallah. It's going to be extremely insightful and show you exactly how to lose 20 to 30 plus pounds while snacking every single day. That's right, snacking every single day. We're going to get you clear on the 7 reasons why you're struggling to lose weight and the 5 best healthy, high protein, low calorie snacks for easy, fun, and sustainable fat loss. And if you stay to the end, you'll learn Coach Munir's golden snacking rule for choosing the right healthy snacks and avoiding false advertising. Costco and Trader Joe's, that's right, your 2 favorite stores, lied to you when they told you that those snacks were healthy, or they imply that it was good for weight loss. Okay, now obviously you could just fast forward through this video if you just want to find the golden rule, but I'm gonna try to make this short and sharp. And if the video ends up being long, understand I put a lot of work into it, because today we didn't just go into like some surface level stuff. We actually went into the deep dive solutions for the 7 biggest reasons why people have the issue of their snacks cravings increasing when they're in a diet, why your cravings increase, when you're stressed, and what to do about it, why the healthy snacks are not healthy, and how to be able to tell the difference immediately just by looking at the nutrition label. I'll explain how that works and how I read labels, okay? And what I wrote here is, if you've noticed that these healthy snacks don't make you feel as gross as you would if you ate something unhealthy, yes, they do tend to have cleaner ingredients, but some of them still don't have really clean ingredients. And you might have noticed that some of these snacks you get at like Trader Joe's, Costco, still make you feel bloated, still make you feel tired afterwards, still make you hungry shortly thereafter, and of course make it impossible to lose weight if you're trying to eat them on a weight loss diet. And then even if you've tried like healthy snack recipes you've seen on like Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, social media, you still have noticed that it doesn't really make a difference, and you're still having issues losing weight. And either you eat too much of it, or even if you restrict yourself, you still don't lose weight, and eventually you give up. I'm going to explain how that works, okay? And then obviously how to like vet recipes online to make sure that they fit within the parameters that we need, okay? And then I'm going to tell you how to fix the problem of, when somebody brings you something sweet or salty, or your kids have something in the house that's hard to resist, okay? I'm also going to teach you how to solve the problem of, making sure that you keep the weight off instead of slowly gaining it back, which has probably happened to you in the past if you've successfully lost weight in the past. And then we're also going to talk about the last red flag and common mistake that people make, which is snacking on a lot of nuts and fruits, but not counting how many they eat and then struggling to lose weight, even though you're trying to like cut calories everywhere else, okay? So we're going to talk about all that stuff today, inshallah. And like I said, the solutions, once my thing loads here, there we go. I'm going to show you exactly how to get into a calorie deficit without starving yourself, so you don't have all those snacks cravings you get when you get all hungry in the first place, right? I'm going to show you how to rewire better habits around stress management so you don't end up using food as a vice, and also how to keep the right low-calorie, high-protein snacks stocked as a backup, which obviously I'm going to tell you the 5 snacks that I typically use with clients, and I think I have a bonus 6 one on here too, okay? And I'm also going to teach you how to fix your routine so you can get to bed early and wake up early, which is a little, secret, easy trick that you can use to avoid late night snacking and also improve other areas of your life as far as like productivity, success, health, fitness, and most importantly, deen, okay? Because when you wake up early, you even wake up for tahajjud, okay? You get better sleep, you're more focused on your prayers, you have more energy, everything is better, okay? We're also going to talk about why the term healthy snacks is a little bit dishonest, okay? It's a little bit of, marketing hype, and the ingredients, which is typically what they try to say are healthy, aren't the only thing that matters, and calories and protein matter just as much, okay? And I'm also going to tell you like the red flags to look out for when looking at healthy snacks as far as like the false marketing and advertising they have on the front, and what to actually look at to be able to tell for yourself whether it's actually properly healthy or not, okay? Like I said, a lot of products that are marketed as healthy still have a lot of junk ingredients, despite the fact that they have some misleading marketing. It's not straight up dishonest. There's some truth in what they're saying, but it could only be like a 10% truth, and it's still 90% unhealthy, okay? And we're also going to talk about why a lot of healthy snacks and recipes on social media are way too high in fats and way too high in calories. So we'll go deep into that. And then I'm also going to talk about which, sweet snacks and salty snacks to keep in stock using the Coach Munir Golden Snacking Rule, which is a fun and cool name I made up for a rule that all my clients know. We call it fitness fatwas inside of the program because, somebody might ask me about something, and then other clients will chime in and say, hey, didn't you know about the golden rule? And they'll be like, oh yeah, the golden rule, you're right. I already know this is unhealthy, or this is not going to fit my plan, right? And then I'll also talk briefly about how to avoid weight regain, I should say weight regain after a weight loss phase, and how to transition out, as well as how to optimize the weight loss strategy itself so it's more sustainable. But I also have videos that go deep into the specific aspects, and I have deep videos that like go really deep into all these points and just kind of covering all of them. But I'll like be able to kind of direct you to which video you should go to if you want to go deeper into any one of these points. Okay, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the hidden calories in certain snacks and foods that we think are healthy and good for weight loss, even if they're not. Okay. So first off, let's just establish, and if you've watched some of my other videos, you can probably skip this part because this is very important, but it's going to be a review if you've watched some of my other videos. However, if this is my first video of mine that you've watched, then obviously watch this part because it's a very important foundation to understand whenever we talk about fat loss, okay? So all you need to do to lose weight is you need to be in a sustainable calorie deficit. If you want to lose fat and not lose muscle, though, you need to make sure you're also eating enough protein. And I have other videos that talk about how much protein to eat. And actually, I have a protein guide coming out. So if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that protein guide coming out in the next week or two, I believe, okay, on exactly how much protein to eat, as well as what are the best protein sources, okay? And so, anyways, if we're trying to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, but then we snack on too many calories of extra foods, especially some of these high-calorie snacks that they market as healthy, it takes you out of a deficit and prevents you from losing fat. In addition to that, if also some of these foods are making you bloated and messing up your hormones and messing up your energy levels, then you're going to end up burning less calories, which also takes you out of a deficit because not only are you slowing down your metabolism, burning less calories, but you're also consuming extra calories, which is a recipe to not only not be in a deficit and not lose weight, but possibly even to be in a surplus and actually gain weight, which is why you may have noticed that sometimes when you do some of these things, you actually might gain some weight, which is very discouraging, right? Now, you should always measure your waist size with your weight because sometimes you'll gain muscle and lose fat at the same time and your weight doesn't change much or it even goes up, but your waist size went down and then you freak out because you thought that you hit a plateau, even though you're actually seeing very good progress. So that's another very important thing that protects you from that common discouraging mistake as well. But yeah, so the whole high calorie thing is one of the biggest problems with like a lot of these like healthy high calorie snacks that you'll see on like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, or that you'll see on Trader Joe's, Costco. So, you know, if you look at the back and it has like, you know, more than 200 calories, more than 300 calories, or even more per serving, and they don't really have that much protein and they don't really fill you up, so you get hungry shortly thereafter, and you also overeat those things, so you end up eating more than the serving size. So if the serving size is 200, and that's another thing I forgot to put in here. Like sometimes the serving size is really small. Like the serving size is like half the thing. And if you eat the whole thing, it's 400 calories. So now you're really not in a deficit, right? And then you eat it multiple times a day and it doesn't fill you up and you crave it. And it has a bunch of like, you know, additives in it that make you addicted to the food as well. So that you end up eating more of it so they can sell you more of it. It's just a recipe for disaster and it sabotages a lot of people from losing weight. And it's very dishonest marketing on their part, which is why I want to teach you how to scrupulously and quickly and easily discern that stuff for yourself so you don't get fooled by this dumb marketing that's stopping you from losing weight that a lot of these like quote unquote healthy products have, okay? But yeah, if you make these mistakes though, before you know it, you'll find yourself overeating, reaching for more, taking you out of deficit, preventing fat loss, and leading sometimes to weight gain, as I said before, okay? However, the solution, of course, is if we can figure out how to get less hungry in the first place within your actual diet plan, okay, making your weight loss diet plan more sustainable, and also having lower calorie yet higher protein and more filling snacks, then we're going to win and succeed at fat loss because we solve both those problems. And that's what we're going to cover today in pretty great levels of detail, inshallah. As you can probably tell from the duration of the video. I'm going to try to make it short though. That's what I say every video, but I was making it too long because I go on all these tangents and get all passionate about stuff. But anyways, so if you want to see some of the specific numbers on like how to get into a calorie deficit and some example meal plans on how all these principles come together, a lot of my videos, I do go very deep into that, but that's part of why a lot of my videos are like, over an hour long or sometimes close to 2 hours long because I just review all this stuff in great depth each time. So I'll probably make a separate calorie deficit video just talking about how to get in a calorie deficit, but a lot of my longer videos have a calorie deficit portion that you can find within the video. But I'm just going to go through some of the principles behind how to make a very sustainable calorie deficit. So one of the first keys is to eat more fiber. Okay, so if you find a veggie or fiber source that you like, so maybe you like okra, maybe you like carrots, maybe you like green beans, maybe you like broccoli. I don't like broccoli, by the way. I hate broccoli, and I don't digest it well either, so I avoid broccoli like the plague, right? But maybe you like broccoli, okay? Or maybe you don't, and you're just like me. You're like, yeah, get me away from that broccoli, cauliflower rice, gross, right? Or maybe you're like, what, cauliflower rice? I love cauliflower rice. Okay, no problem. As long as you don't get digestive issues, you can keep it, okay? But some kind of fiber source that you like, and maybe you hate all veggies, okay? And you even hate fruits, so then you just have to take psyllium husks, which is a supplement you could take that has a lot of fiber and is very good for digestion that we've successfully used with some of our clients who don't like, veggies, right? And who literally cannot stand any kind of veggie, which is funny. We've actually had 2 or 3 clients who have been in that situation out of over 1,000, so it's a small percentage, but you might be one of those people watching this, right? But anyway, so when you have fiber, as I've talked about in other videos, it has hormonal benefits, okay? So it's going to help to lower estrogen and lower the water weight associated with estrogen because it blocks estrogen absorption and helps with estrogen excretion. Now, fiber also has some energetic benefits because fiber is going to be converted into short-chain fatty acids by your gut bacteria. Part of it gets converted into short-chain fatty acids, which is going to give you more energy. That's going to help you burn more calories during the day. Additionally, when you burn more calories during the day because you have more energy and you're more active and your metabolism is healthier because you're not bloated, then that's also going to have some metabolic benefits that help you burn more calories and get into more of a deficit and lose fat faster and lose a larger amount of fat over time. Okay? And then fiber, of course, keeps you full, so it is very satiating, prevents you from getting excessively hungry. It reduces bloating, and it can even actually, I have read and experienced as well, reduce the absorption of dietary fats, which also gets you in more of a deficit because that's what a lot of the hidden calories are in a lot of, especially traditional foods that we eat as Muslims, is in like all the fats, aka oils and butter that we tend to add to our food. So it's going to help to block that, but also we should be strategic and keep our oil low in the first place and our butter use low in the first place, which I talk about in my calorie deficit videos and in many of my videos, because that's going to help you to stay in a deficit and avoid those hidden calories when you add a bunch of oil to rice but it looks the same even though it's oily rice. Okay, we obviously want to avoid that. Now but yeah, so that'll be a very easy way for you to get into a deficit more effortlessly and again lose weight and lose it faster. Okay, now another strategy that we can implement here is to eat more filling carb sources like potatoes, sweet potatoes. And again, this is very individual because some of these you might get digestive issues, some of these might not make you full, some of these things you might get really bloated from them, so you got to kind of experiment these things on yourself. But I tend to find that for myself and many clients, potatoes are very satiating, sweet potatoes are very satiating and keep you full and give you good energy levels and have a lot of benefits and a lot of good micronutrients in them too, which is good for your metabolism and overall health. Okay. Higher fiber rices and grains. So brown rice does have more fiber than white rice, but if you hate brown rice, then obviously that would violate the principle of creating a sustainable deficit because it needs to be sustainable, something you can actually enjoy. So obviously don't force yourself to eat brown rice if you don't like it, but if you don't mind brown rice, or you're down to try like brown basmati rice with cinnamon, cardamom, cloves, and salt, which makes it taste really good, just as good as white rice, but it's still brown rice, so it still has the fiber and it keeps you full and gives you better energy levels than the white rice, then great. But if you have to choose some kind of white rice, make it basmati rice because that one has the lowest glycemic index, which makes it superior for fat loss and safer for diabetics because it doesn't spike your insulin as much, and therefore it doesn't make you as hungry or tired after eating it as like jasmine rice or sushi rice or something like that. Now, you could also find some higher fiber grains. There's a number of things you could do. You could do lentils, you could do black beans. I mean, there's a lot of things you could do that are very good carb sources that keep you fuller longer, have more fiber, all that stuff. Just be mindful if you get bloated from gluten, you might want to avoid anything that has gluten in it, right? And then again, as I mentioned a couple times already, right, you want to avoid hidden calories like excess oils or also calorie dense marinades for your meats. Like for instance, if you have like the super oily masala that you put on your meat that has a ton of calories and doubles the calories in the meat, it's a lot of hidden calories that you're not realizing you're eating. So make sure that you look and double check the ingredients in the marinades that you're having to make sure that none of it has calories. If it has nutrition facts, you can check that too. But if it has an ingredient list, then you can, Google those ingredients and make sure they don't have calories to ensure you're not getting those hidden calories that you're not accounting for in your marinades, your sauces, whatever you're adding to your food. And then obviously be careful with the excess oils because a lot of us, if you just say, oh, this is probably about a tablespoon of olive oil, no, it's probably more than that if you just pour it. Like I remember I saw this video of Chef Gordon Ramsay, a professional chef. So he should know these things, although he's not a professional health chef. He's just a professional taste chef, right? And professional taste chef usually going to put a little bit more oil because oil does make it taste, 10, 20% better, okay? But it also makes it have 100% more calories to where you might as well sacrifice 10 to 20% taste so you get 100% more results as opposed to sabotaging your results just so you can enjoy food that tastes 10 to 20% better, but only to make you more bloated because it has so much oil that your body now has to digest and put a lot of energy towards digesting and makes you feel tired and just unhappy, okay? So make sure you measure your oils. I know that sounds cumbersome. Oh, I don't want to have to pull out a tablespoon and measure my oil. You could also do like a light spray of oil. And generally what I recommend is using olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil. These tend to be good, but it depends on the person too. It depends on your individual needs. It depends on, any specific blood markers you're trying to bring down. For instance, if you have high cholesterol, some people would say, hey, you can still have butter, coconut oil, all that stuff. But generally, I try to have people who have high cholesterol avoid saturated fats. So we would avoid butter and coconut oil. Instead, we would get some extra virgin olive oil, which has been shown to be one of the best oils in studies to reduce cholesterol in comparison with butter and lowers inflammation in comparison with canola oil, right? So like I think it was a study where they had people who used butter in their food, right? And I can't remember exactly how they set up the study, so you'll have to like search this up. But they had butter in their food, canola oil in their food, or olive oil in their food. So the butter group had the highest cholesterol at the end of the study. The canola and olive oil groups both had lower cholesterol than the butter group. However, the olive oil group had lower markers of inflammation than the canola oil group, which you could then extrapolate to say, based on that study, that olive oil is the best of both worlds, where it lowers your cholesterol in comparison with butter and it lowers your inflammation in comparison with canola oil. And I have validated this by testing it. If I eat something that has canola oil, I get really bloated, I feel really gross, I feel really inflamed, my nose gets stuffy, my eyes get puffy, right? Versus if I have olive oil and it's like proper, good, high quality, not cut with other oils, but just pure extra virgin, high quality olive oil, okay? Feel way better, okay? Same with like, pure avocado oil. I feel way better than if I eat canola oil. Now, I haven't found any studies that tested avocado versus canola oil. And a lot of people in one of my other videos complain that avocado oil is really expensive. And obviously extra virgin olive oil is also very expensive. But hey, you're either going to pay the farmer today or pay the pharmacist tomorrow. So good health does cost money. But the good news is, as I tell you guys all the time, you shouldn't use that much oil when you cook anyways. So even if it's expensive, it's going to last you a long time because you're not going to use that much of it each time you cook because we want to keep those calories down. So it doesn't really matter, okay? And see my other videos on how to make more money if you're broke and you need to be able to make more money so you can afford these high quality organic foods to feed your family the best so you and your family don't have health problems when you're older and when your kids are older, and so you can all live a higher quality life. And more importantly, make that money because the masjid and the poor people need us to be able to donate money to all the different projects that the masjid has, all the orphans out there, all the people in poor third world countries. We need to be able to donate, so we as Muslims have a duty to be more successful, and we have all the tools. Our religion already teaches us discipline. We just need the right strategy, skills, and mindsets to make more money. And that's what I talk about in those videos on how to make more money. This is more of a fitness channel than it is like a business channel, but I feel it's my duty especially when I see like how many Muslims are struggling financially, to teach people how to make more money. I'm not an expert on it. I just, alhamdulillah, have a successful business, mashallah. But, I'll share whatever I can, and I can direct you to people who are greater authorities in business than myself if you're interested in learning how to make more money, because I think it's an important thing that we as Muslims need to learn how to do, as long as it's done in an ethical way. But anyways, before I go on a tangent and make this video 2 hours long, let's continue, okay? So avoid adding a bunch of oil to your food. It's kind of the TLDR, too long didn't read, of this whole area here, okay? And then the cool thing is, because we're not adding excess oils, right, we can eat a lot more volume of food, which keeps us more full and makes us feel satisfied without going over on our calories. So we're still in a deficit, yet we're eating a lot of food. So it's the best of both worlds. We don't have to feel hungry, and we're losing weight, and we feel great because we're not being weighed down by all this oil that's difficult for us to digest. And I use the example of how, like, if you have like a cup of rice with a bunch of oil on it, it looks very similar to like a cup of rice without oil in it. It's just maybe a little bit shinier, yet it has double or triple the calories. So that's why it would be considered a hidden source of calories. So avoid the hidden calories in oil. Try to avoid any kind of oily rice. Make your own steamed rice, or just boil your rice without oil. Still tastes great. You could still put salt in it as long as you don't have any blood pressure issues. And you can still put bay leaf, cardamom, cloves, cinnamon, make it taste like that delicious desi rice. It could even be brown basmati rice, and it tastes great. And that is something that Trader Joe's does have that is good and healthy, is the brown basmati rice. I use it from Trader Joe's all the time, and it's very beneficial. And when you cook it the way that I just explained, it tastes just like regular basmati, but it has all the benefits of brown rice. Now, some people would say brown rice has like anti-nutrients in it and stuff like that. And look, if you get bloated and digestive issues and don't feel good when you eat brown rice, don't eat brown rice. Stick with white rice and other carb sources. But what I found is with most people who don't get those digestive issues from brown rice, including myself, brown rice is superior for energy and fat loss and satiation. But again, everybody's different, so you got to test the stuff on yourself, like I always say. Now, the other example I want to talk about is, again, I talked about the marinades in meat. Another thing, and I'll transition into this, fatty meats, okay? Another way that we can reduce the calories while keeping the food volume high so that we're not hungry, but we're still in a deficit, is switching fatty meats for leaner meats. So let's say that you currently eat like chicken thighs and drumsticks, but you switch to chicken breast and you learn how to cook chicken breast in a way that tastes good. And I have a very good oven recipe for chicken breast that makes it taste very good, flavorful, not dry, without also adding like oil and calories. So I'm going to put that out in my meal prep video. It's coming out soon, inshallah. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you aren't already so you don't miss that. Great video on meal prep, inshallah. So that's a great way you can reduce the calories while keeping the food volume high. Or you can, and then another one is with beef, you can switch from like 80-20 beef to 93-7 beef or leaner. Or what you can do is, if you can't find 93-7 beef, you can take 90-10 beef, but drain out the fat and then make it flavorful using seasonings, since draining the fat will take out some of the flavor, but it'll take out like, a bunch of the calories. Like you can take out 500 calories from a pound of meat just by draining out the oil if you can only find 90-10, but it's best to find 93-7 if you can. And what I would do is get if you can, go to the butcher and get a top sirloin and have them cut out all the fat and have them grind it up. If the butcher doesn't speak English, which a lot of butchers have that issue, unfortunately, when we go to halal butcher, then, try your best. Safeway does actually sell halal, halal top sirloin, which is great. So you can also just put that in the food processor yourself and make your own ground beef. But again, we got to do what we can. Comment down below if you have any questions on this, of course. But yeah, so this helps us to eat a high volume of food so we don't get hungry while still eating less calories, which pushes us in deficit and helps us to lose fat. Okay. Now, again, like I said before, for specific calorie deficit numbers, see my other videos. Or if this sounds like a lot of info, I'll also drop the info on our program below where we get this sorted out for you. If you don't have the time to figure all this out for yourself from all my free videos, and you'd rather just pay for us to figure this out for you, okay, which is what we've done for literally hundreds of clients, so we can easily do it for you. And all you have to do is follow the plan and you'll get results, okay? Then obviously, tap the link below because that is what we do in our professional coaching services. But obviously, if you're in a position where money's a little bit tight, and you'd rather save money than save time, then obviously, go through my free videos because all the free info is there and I go very deep into all these topics in all my other videos. Cool. So now let's transition into the next topic. Okay, so we've covered briefly how to get in a deficit, and I resisted my temptation to nerd out and spend 3 hours talking about the intricacies of a calorie deficit. But if you want to see a multi-hour breakdown on the calorie deficit stuff, see my other videos. Now that we have an understanding of how to get in a deficit without starving ourselves, which is going to solve the first of the 7 problems that cause us to snack a lot, let's talk about the second of the 7 problems that causes us to snack a lot, which is high stress. When we're stressed out with work, we tend to crave more snacks. That's a fact. When you're busy, when you're stressed, when your kids are stressing you out, your wife's stressing you out, your husband's stressing you out, your parents are stressing you out, your boss is stressing you out, your employees are stressing you out, your customers and clients are stressing you out, everybody's stressing you out. It's very easy to want to just bury your head in a bowl of chips or Cheetos or I don't know, whatever the kids are snacking on these days, and candy and ice cream and all that stuff. And that's a very great way to rapidly gain weight and mess up your weight loss diet, especially if you're doing well. And then you get discouraged and you give up, and then you spend 3 months eating ice cream every day, and then before you know it, you've gained all the weight back and more. Okay, let's avoid that, and let's talk about healthy stress management. So food is a vice, okay? Well, it's not a vice, but some people use it as a vice. Food is fuel, and the more you can think of food as fuel, where instead of eating things for a hedonistic purpose of pleasure, you eat things understanding how to make them taste good so you enjoy it, but also understanding that the primary purpose of food is sustenance from Allah, to treat the body that Allah gave us with respect and put the right fuel in the beautiful engine in this beautiful vehicle that Allah gave us to give us maximum output and energy and productivity and mood and ability to worship Allah with high energy because we're fueling our body with good food and avoiding junk that makes us tired and unable to focus on our prayers. That's the Islamic reason why we should eat healthy. But even in a worldly reason, you're going to be happier and healthier if you eat healthy and you avoid junk food. And that's why using food as a vice, unhealthy food as a vice, is very detrimental, because when you use food as a vice, it has side effects of weight gain, tiredness, bloatedness, all that stuff if you're eating unhealthy foods, versus if we find a more healthy outlet for stress, like going for a walk, like working out, it has positive side effects where you get fitter and happier and actually solves the stress instead of just masking it, okay? But also, we can also solve the root causes of the stress. Like, let's say you have marriage problems, you can go to marriage counseling, or you can figure out what is the root cause of your marriage problems. If you have business problems, you can see a business coach or consultant and have them fix that. If you have professional problems, whatever it may be, it is good to address the root causes of the stress. But in the short term, let's talk about how to manage that stress in a healthier way. And I have other videos that go deep into this and like how to build healthy habits and all that stuff, so check those out. But I'm going to give you the simplest and easiest habit you can build literally in the next few days, literally today actually, that will make a huge impact on helping you avoid stress eating. And that is, every time you feel stressed out and you feel like eating some junk food, drink some water and go for a walk, okay? That's it. Whenever you feel stressed out, go for a walk instead of eating junk. If it's raining or snowing outside, get up and walk around the house. Get some blood flow, get some fresh air, stretch, right? Whatever you gotta do. And hopefully it isn't raining or snowing outside so you can go for a walk. And if it's just drizzling, use an umbrella, whatever you gotta do, get out there and just release that stress in a positive way, and watch. It's going to clear your mind. It's going to give you better mental health. You can also pray or meditate or read Quran, whatever you want to do, but something productive and positive that gives you a positive purpose. Obviously, in the context of fitness, walking is great. You can listen to Quran while you walk too if you want to do both. There you go. Or you can listen to a podcast, whatever you want to do to relieve your stress in a healthy way. Now, again, like I said, if this is a recurring stressor, then we should probably figure out the root cause. So you can do some root cause journaling. I have a video on journaling. There's a lot of things we can do to address the root cause, and obviously see the appropriate, counselor or expert to help you with whatever root cause problems you're having, to help you to solve really what the real root cause is. Okay. And then the last component that's going to help us to avoid food as a vice is to have a healthier and higher performance routine. And Islam teaches us this. Islam has us wake up early. Allah tells us to wake up for Fajr. Allah commands us and requires us to wake up for Fajr. But the problem is if we go to bed after Fajr because we stayed up too late eating snacks, watching TV, being on YouTube, or doing the work that we procrastinated on all day, that's not the right way to live. The Prophet ﷺ asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to put barakah in the morning. And if you're going to sleep after Fajr, you're wasting that barakah. Now, I'm not saying you have to be perfect even on the weekends and not sleep in. Like on the weekends, if you want to go to bed after Fajr, that's fine. But on the weekdays, try your very best 90% of the time to stay up after Fajr and be productive and then get to bed early. And I'm telling you, if you stay up after Fajr, it's a lot easier to get to bed early because you're productive, so you don't have a bunch of backlogged work that you procrastinated on all day that you now have to do at night. And you'll be tired by nighttime because you've been up for so long that you'll get to bed a lot easier. You just have to have that one day where you decide to be disciplined and, get up early no matter how late you got to bed. And then pound caffeine if you need to. Just cut caffeine at 10 a.m. so it doesn't, stay in your system and keep you up late at night. And from there, your productivity is going to skyrocket. And then and because your productivity skyrockets, it's going to solve actually a lot of the root causes behind a lot of your work and family-related stressors because you're going to get more done in less time, you're going to be more productive, and you're going to have more time, and you're going to have more attention and emotional availability to give to your family, and you're going to feel a lot more successful because you are more successful because you're getting more done because you're taking advantage of that morning where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah. And if you ask any hafid what's the best time to read and memorize and review Quran, it's in the morning after Fajr because that's when our peak mental performance is at its peak. So try to take advantage of that time. Fajr is very early right now. I know it's hard to wake up, but if you can't wake up for tahajjud before Fajr, but at least stay up after Fajr, get some work done before you got to take the kids to school, or find a way to delegate or have a couple of days where maybe your wife takes the kids to school or your husband or whatever, to give you that time and space to get some work done in the morning, and you feel way better because you're way more successful, you're way more productive, and you're not feeling stressed out. You have all this backlog work that you procrastinated on and had stuff come up that stopped you from doing it all day long to where now you have to stay up late doing the work. And then when you're doing the work late at night, you get the food cravings and you end up eating ice cream and it just messes you up. So fix those routines. Build this high performance routine. It's going to help you to be more successful, be more productive, get more done in less time. And it's also going to help you to avoid late night snacking because you're asleep, because you're going to bed early. Okay? Now, I'm only going to go that deep into the high performance routines, but if you want to see my other videos on, how to build high performance routines, check my YouTube channel, go through all my videos. I have a ton of videos on the best high performance routines for business owners, 9-to-5 professionals, whatever it may be, to get more done in less time, be more productive, and live a healthy, high performance lifestyle. That also helps you to worship Allah better because you're waking up for tahajjud. And even if you're not waking up for tahajjud, you're at least doing more ibadah, you're more focused on your ibadah, you're more productive. You're not all stressed and distracted when you're praying because you're getting your work done. So instead of thinking about work while you're praying, you finish your work and then you pray, Maghrib and Isha at the end of the day, and you're not thinking about work, you're not feeling stressed out because you can focus on your prayers because you got your work done. Okay? That's it. It's a great system. That's the modern Muslim man routine. Eat clean, stay lean, be on point with your deen using the modern Muslim man routine. That's my tagline. So let's get it, inshallah. All right. So now let's talk about why Trader Joe's and Costco lied to you, okay? So if you've ever picked up a snack that's marketed as healthy, yet when you eat it, you feel tired and you feel bloated afterwards, and then you crave more of it because you quickly get hungry after eating it because it's not very filling, and then you wonder, is my metabolism broken or something? But in reality, I'm telling you it's actually the food itself. Then I want you to listen up because it is the food itself, okay? So you've probably seen stuff that's marketed as healthy. So it says healthy on the front. It says natural. It says sugar-free. It says it's a low-fat food. It says it's made with omega-3s. It says it's got high protein, okay? As if, and then you check the label, it actually doesn't have that much protein. They put the word protein on the front, even though it only has 2 grams of protein, and then they're calling that protein because it has 2 grams of protein or 5 grams of protein or whatever astronomically small, cheap amount that they put in it just so they can market it as high protein. And then people who don't know better buy it because they think it's healthy, okay? It says gluten-free on the front. Whatever other misleading claims or implications that they make. And just because it says, if it says gluten-free on the front, it is gluten-free, but that doesn't mean it's healthy. It could have a bunch of other junk in it, right? So my point is that they're making misleading claims and implications by making it sound healthy, even if you actually check the label and the ingredients and the calories and the protein, and it actually isn't healthy, okay? And so that's the whole point, is that, again, at the end of the day, because a lot of these foods have unhealthy, unnatural, artificial ingredients, or the claims are straight up outright false, like high protein, even though it only has 5 grams of protein, that's why we need to learn how to interpret the labels for ourselves so that we can't be lied to, because the label doesn't lie. The front, the marketing, the title can lie. The title can call it protein candy bar, right? But if it only has 10 grams of protein, it doesn't have that much protein. 10 grams is really not that much, okay? And so that's what I would consider a false claim. I guess it's not false. It's technically partially true. But if it says protein on the front, it better have at least 20 grams of protein, okay? And that's the first point I'm going to dive into, but I'm going to tell you why all of those things are misleading, okay? So first off, a lot of high proteins you pick up don't even have 20 grams of protein per serving. In fact, a lot of protein bars on the market, like Cliff bars, whatever else, only have like 10 to 15 grams of protein, or even if they do have 20 grams of protein, which a lot of bars do, it comes from low quality sources like soy or whatever, and it has a bunch of junk ingredients in it. And that's the tricky thing is with protein bars, there is no perfect protein bar, unfortunately. They all tend to have unhealthy ingredients, although you could find some like good like homemade protein bar recipes online that have 20 grams of protein but have less than 200 calories, which is kind of like my golden rule, right? And we're going to dive into the golden rule in a sec, like the full golden rule. But that's kind of my golden rule for protein bars is it has to have clean ingredients that don't make you bloated. So if you eat it and it makes you bloated, probably best to avoid it, okay? It needs to have at least 20 grams of high quality protein from like, whey, not from some junk like, soy protein that has a bunch of estrogen and makes, a man develop female breast tissue. At least that's what happens to me when I eat soy. And I'm very sensitive to it, of course, but, a lot of guys will get gyno, which is female breast tissue on a man when they eat soy. For women, you don't actually have to be as careful about avoiding soy because it's not really significantly detrimental to women. But to men, I say avoid soy at all costs, okay? But and look, I'm sure that, there's people out there who are going to say, oh, well, this study said that men didn't get gyno when they ate soy. And look, it's a case by case. Like, I know some men who can eat all the soy in the world. They can drink straight up soy milk and they're still like high test, shredded, jacked, everything, great athletes. But I know some guys where if they even eat soy once, like myself, they start getting puffy nipples, they start getting gyno, they start getting female breast tissue, okay? And some people are just really sensitive. So if you got gyno during puberty, there's a high chance that you're probably sensitive to estrogen, which means that you should probably avoid soy, but I just tell all men to avoid soy. And the ones who listen to me never regret it. So, anyways, So yeah, but obviously if you look at like an empirical study, I mean, I'm not going to pull up an empirical study on soy per se. I'm sure there are some that say that it's fine for men, maybe even some that say it has some benefits. So I'm not denying that there are some men who can get away with eating soy and it'll be a beneficial way to get a little bit extra protein. But my point is that if you eat soy and you notice that you get some of the side effects that I just described, and you feel tired and you feel bloated and you notice you get some water weight and some fat gain, you're probably fairly sensitive to estrogen or maybe even have high baseline estrogen. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why it could be that you're more sensitive to soy than like some of these guys who don't seem to be affected by it. But I would just say err on the safe side and just avoid it, okay? But anyway, so a lot of these protein bars have low quality sources of protein or they have junk ingredients. Like I said, there's no perfect protein bar because all of them do have some artificial ingredients. But I do have a few brands that I tend to prefer and find work well with myself and clients. But even those cause a little bit of bloating. And I'll cover those later in the video. I don't have any affiliate links. I'm just going to share what I found works well and what I use. But my purpose in sharing the snacks that I like for clients and for myself is not to make money. It's literally just to educate you. So I don't have any affiliate links, and I'm not going to share any affiliate links because that would probably make you doubt whether I was, just trying to sell you the protein bar. I'm not trying to sell you the protein bar. I'm just trying to sell you on the idea of eating less calories and eating more protein so you can get results and lose weight. So anyways, part 2, why traders and Costco lied to you. So let's break down each of those claims. Let's break down the claim: healthy, natural, sugar-free, low-fat food, made with omega-3s, high protein, gluten-free. These are the 7 claims. Actually, there's probably more than that, but those are the 7 I could come up with that are made on these healthy foods to make them sound healthy, even if they're not good for fat loss. So let's break down each of those things. And I want you, as you listen to this, to think about what is the pattern between these things. What are the 2 or 3 things I'm saying for each of these is the problem? That's the problem with all of them. And then by the end, I'm going to tell you what the answer is so that you can understand exactly why these foods are not good for fat loss, okay? So healthy. Just because it says healthy on the front doesn't mean that it's healthy. Why? Because it could have one healthy ingredient in it, or it could have one ingredient that has some health properties or benefits, but still have lots of other junk ingredients that make you bloated and tired, or just have a bunch of empty, fast digesting calories and low protein. So let's say that something, I just thought of an 8th word, superfood, okay? So let's say something has blueberries in it, but it also has high fructose corn syrup, and it also has like, I don't know, canola oil, right? And I know some people, I talked earlier about why canola oil I'm not a fan, right? But let's say it has canola oil, high fructose corn syrup, and blueberries in it. And on the front it says superfood bar. You're like, superfood, that must be healthy. I'm going to get this healthy snack so I can lose weight. But in reality, now you're eating those high fructose corn syrup and freaking canola oil and all these calories just because you thought that superfood on the front meant it was healthy. No, it doesn't mean that it's healthy. If you eat blueberries on its own, wild blueberries specifically, it has a lot of antioxidants, so that's a superfood. And if you do that with like a natural, high-quality whey protein shake, that's a good snack. That's one of my 5 favorite snacks is berries or fruit with protein. It's a very good high-protein snack that's low calories, has some health properties. But that's because it doesn't have the high fructose corn syrup and the canola oil, because we're using a high-quality whey protein and we're using just the natural fruit itself without whatever processed junk. So if it says superfood or healthy on the front, read the ingredients on the back, look at the calorie label, and see whether or not it actually is something that's healthy. And then also, let's say that it does have, high enough protein, low enough calories, which I'm going to tell you what the golden rule is in a second, but you eat it and you feel bloated and tired, you should probably avoid it anyways, even though the macros are good, even though the protein and calories are good, because obviously there's something in it that's making you bloated and tired, which means that it's having a negative effect on your energy expenditure, because if you get tired, you're going to end up burning less calories. And if you get bloated, your cortisol is going to go up, your estrogen is going to go up, and that's also going to have negative effects on your ability to lose fat, okay? So you might as well avoid it if it makes you bloated, okay? So again, what are the 3 problems with something that says that it's healthy? If it has too many calories, too little protein, or it makes you bloated, then you should not eat it, even if it says healthy or superfood on the front. Got it? Okay. Now let's say that it does have, less than 200 calories and more than 20 grams of protein, aka my golden rule, and it doesn't make you bloated, and it says healthy or superfood on the front, then you can keep eating it because obviously it's working and it fits the parameters needed to achieve the numbers of calorie and protein that I specified earlier that we need for fat loss, as long as you're factoring it into your daily calories and ensuring that for the day and for the week, you're still in a net deficit. Make sense? If you have any questions, drop them down below in the comments, okay? Whether you're watching this on IG or YouTube, very important that you ask questions on that if you're not clear on that, but I hope I explained that clearly because I spent a lot of time explaining it. Okay, now what's the problem if it says natural on the front? It could be natural, but it could still have too many calories, low protein, and make you bloated. Are you starting to see the pattern? Okay, now if it's natural and it is the right amount of calories, the right amount of protein, and doesn't make you bloated, then it's fine, okay? The word natural doesn't mean it's bad, it just doesn't necessarily mean it's good. All these words don't necessarily mean it's bad, it just means that it isn't necessarily good if it has any of those 3 issues, which are too high in calories, too low in protein, or makes you bloated. You're starting to see the pattern now, aren't you? Okay, sugar-free. Could still be loaded with fats, artificial ingredients, high calorie, low protein, and make you bloated. There's those 3 things again. Are you starting to see the pattern? Okay, low-fat food. Could still be loaded with sugar, high calorie, low protein, and make you bloated. Have a bunch of other junk ingredients, even if it doesn't have fat. Okay, cool. Still has the same 3 problems. Okay, made with omega-3s. Could still be high calorie, low protein, and make you bloated. High protein. As we said before, could still have less than 20 grams of protein and just say high protein, even though it's not actually high in protein. And it could still be high in calories, and it could still make you bloated. And it could have protein sources with side effects like soy. So just because it says high protein on the front doesn't mean it's a good food for fat loss. You actually have to read the label and understand the label and make sure that it doesn't have more than 200 grams of protein. Make sure it doesn't have more than 200 calories. If it has 200 grams of protein, that's a true superfood, okay? But if it has more than 200 calories and less than 20 grams of protein, it's probably not ideal for fat loss because it's going to violate the principles of keeping your protein high and calories low. And if it makes you bloated, as I explained before, it's not going to be ideal for fat loss either, even if it says high protein on the front. However, if it says high protein on the front and it fits the parameters on calories, protein, and not making you bloated, then you can indeed eat it because it is indeed something that you can eat that fits the parameters, okay? Now, lastly, gluten-free could also have too many calories, low protein, make you bloated. So have you guys understood the pattern yet? Do you notice the theme? The theme between all of those 7 points, or 8 points if you include the word superfoods, is they could still be too high in calories, they could still be too low in protein, and they could still make you bloated, okay? Now, on the flip side though, as I've explained at length, if the calories are low, the protein is high, and it doesn't make you bloated, then regardless of what it says on the front, it's good to go. And that's the point that I wanted to prove to you guys today, is that those are the parameters needed, so make sure that you're, understand those parameters. And that leads us to the golden rule, which is 200 calories max for each snack, 20 grams of protein minimum. This makes it easy to fit 1 to 2 snacks a day into your meal plan and still be in a deficit. And like I said, the biggest problem most snacks have is that they're too low in protein, they're too high in calories, and they mess up your deficit, and they also don't have any productive purpose. Because protein, if you eat a snack that has protein, even if it makes you a little bloated, at least if it has a high quality protein source in it, it's helping you to build muscle, which is going to increase your metabolism to help you lose weight. And then the other issue actually with a lot of these snacks is if they're not really filling, they digest fast and you end up overeating even more of it later, that's also going to mess up your deficit and mess up your fat loss. So make sure that you avoid that when it comes to snacks, okay? If something makes you bloated, tired, and gassy, avoid it as best as you can. But if it makes you bloated and it has a good protein to calorie ratio and it's still a better alternative to some other junk you would normally eat, for instance, like a chocolate Quest bar, okay? I actually have one right here. Chocolate Quest bar, okay? If you eat this, you're probably going to get a little bit bloated, okay? I'm not going to lie to you. You're going to get bloated if you eat this. But it's not as bad as a Hershey's chocolate bar that has more calories, less protein, and will make you even more bloated. So if it's the lesser of two evils, you can still eat it, but try to do so sparingly. So like I've made the mistake of eating too many protein bars during many periods of my life, and when I was younger I could get away with it because my digestive system was a lot more robust. But now that I'm a little bit older, I can't get away with eating all the stuff that makes me bloated. So what I would highly recommend to you is just be very cognizant of that, because as I've explained, when you get bloated, your cortisol goes up, your estrogen goes up, you start getting more water retention, you start getting more tired, you stop burning as many calories, and you start getting all kinds of issues that can lead to hormonal weight gain and stop you from losing as much fat or completely halt the fat loss process altogether. Okay? And of course, if you eat something that has a good protein to calorie ratio and it doesn't make you bloated, then you're golden. Okay? So we're going to go into some more examples of this. Okay? And we're going to talk about my 5 best snacks for fat loss and my golden rule. Okay? So are you ready for the 5 best snacks? The 5 best snacks are Chobani Zero Sugar Greek Yogurt. And each of these has 11 grams of protein and only 60 calories. So you can eat 2 of them, and now you've achieved that 22 gram protein target, which is greater than 20 grams, but we're still at only 120 calories, so we're well under 200, which makes it an excellent snack. And you can even have a third one. You can eat 3 of these cups of Chobani Zero Sugar Greek Yogurt, and you get 33 grams of protein and only 180 calories, so it fits the rule perfectly. However, there are people who get bloated from Chobani Zero Sugar Greek Yogurt. So if you eat Chobani Zero Sugar Greek Yogurt and you get bloated, then from a calories and protein perspective, it's a good snack, but from a bloating perspective, it's not. So you might want to avoid it. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll eat that and I'll have a carrot with it, just like a little bit of fiber or a couple carrots, because carrots are like super low in calories to where you barely even need to count them. And so that will actually help to prevent any kind of bloating, because I have gotten a little bloated from the Chobanis before. And that's the thing, is that's why we go back to principle 1 we talked about today, which is make sure your diet plan is already satisfying enough from a food volume and taste perspective that you're in a deficit and don't even feel the need to snack, so you don't even need to worry about these snacks. But if you must snack, these snacks are definitely by far the lesser of 2 evils if you're comparing, let's say, eating the Greek yogurt with eating ice cream. Obviously, if you eat ice cream, even if it's like Halo Top, which has, a lot of calorie. Now look, Halo Top is the lesser of 2 evils to regular ice cream, but Chobani Zero Sugar Greek Yogurt, even if you get bloated from it, is the lesser of evils compared to Halo Top, because Halo Top still has a lot of calories, not that high in protein. Again, it's better than eating regular ice cream, but it's still not ideal. So Halo Top's a great example of something that's marketed as like a healthy fitness food, and it's certainly better than the unhealthy alternative. But even better than that, if you really want to lose fat and keep it off for life, is Chobani Zero Sugar Greek Yogurt. And like I said, I don't have an affiliate code for Chobani. I should, because I talk about it all the time, but I don't, because I don't want you guys to think that I'm just trying to sell Chobani Zero Sugar Greek Yogurt. I do not have stock in the company, nothing. I just want you guys to gain the same benefits I've gained from it. However, if you do get bloated from it, then be mindful of that. And you might not be somebody who tolerates dairy well. However, most people who get issues from dairy, they get the issues from dairy because of the lactose. And the thing is, because Chobani Zero Sugar Greek Yogurt is zero sugar, there is no lactose. So if that's your issue with dairy, you shouldn't get any issues from it. But you might still get issues. So if that's the case, just be mindful of that and maybe use it sparingly so you don't get bloated. Now, the next snack on my list there is half to 1 cup of fruit or berries with protein shake. So this is going to depend on which fruit and which berries. Some fruit, if you eat 1 cup of it, plus 1 scoop of protein shake. I should have specified the quantity. Sorry about that. 1 scoop of a high quality whey protein shake, just to be more specific on this slide right here. Okay, 1 scoop of a high quality whey protein shake with half a cup to 1 cup of fruit or berries. Just be mindful and make sure that the total is no more than 200 calories. And then a high quality whey protein shake is going to have 25 grams of protein per scoop or per serving. So you're good to go on the protein. You just got to make sure the calories don't go over. The cool thing with berries is most berries you can eat a whole cup of it, and it's going to be like very little calories to where you can put it next to the protein shake and it'll fit that 200 calorie max. So you'll be good to go. Versus with fruit, we usually need to use half a cup. Now, the question now becomes, what if you get bloated from whey protein? Some people get bloated from whey protein. Most people don't, but some people do. So if that's the case, what I recommend, and again, I don't have an affiliate code for this. I'm just telling you what works, that works well, even though I'm not going to make any money from it because I want to help you, is Garden of Life plant-based protein shake. I've tried multiple plant-based protein shakes like Orgain. I got really bloated from Orgain, so I'm not a fan of Orgain, even though a lot of people like Orgain, the Costco one. And I'm not trying to hate on Costco today. I'm just saying if they had Garden of Life, I would say, hey, buy it at Costco, buy it on Amazon. I don't care. But Garden of Life plant-based protein, the sport one has a good ratio of protein to calories, and it digests very smoothly. It's the best digesting plant protein shake. So if you get issues from whey protein or you're vegan, which you're probably not watching my content if you're vegan because I talk about eating meat all the time, but if you are, Garden of Life plant-based protein is very good, or if you get issues from whey. However, most people don't get issues from whey, so I would probably just stick with whey. Okay? Now, so that's snack number 2. Snack number 3 would be homemade protein bars. Now, I don't have any recipes for this because honestly, I just buy the Quest protein bars because it's just easy. But like I said, the Quest protein bars aren't the cleanest, but they're definitely better than most other protein bars on the market. And they're definitely, a much lesser of 2 evils than Hershey's chocolate bars. So you could eat a Quest bar every day and not have any issues. The fourth one is going to be Quest protein chips. And like I said, I don't have any affiliate codes or stock with Quest. I just like their products. And I've probably spent thousands of dollars on Quest over the years, to be honest, which is hilarious. So maybe they should send me some free stuff or affiliate codes or whatever. But the point is, Quest protein chips, again, they can make you a little bit bloated because they do have like sunflower oil. So like I said, they do have like some processed ingredients that I usually try to stay away from. But it's definitely better than eating Lay's potato chips. It's definitely better than eating the kettle chips. It's better than eating, all the other junk options that you have or hot Cheetos. And they have a bunch of flavors to where you can get, they have a flavor that tastes kind of like hot Cheetos. They have a flavor that, my favorite is the chili lime. It's absolutely amazing. Probably have one in like my trash next to my desk here. I could pull it out, but it's okay. We don't need that prop. It's very good, and it only has 140 calories and it has 20 grams of protein. So you could add one Chobani Zero Sugar to it and still be in that 200 calorie maximum, and you'd be getting 31 grams of protein because 20 grams of protein from the Quest protein chips plus 11 grams from the Chobani Zero Sugar is 31. So it's very good. Okay. The fifth one is Twin Peaks Protein Puffs. Now, this one, I was a huge fan of it a couple years ago, but I ordered it so many times I got very tired of it, but I have a lot of clients who love it. Now, the one thing to be mindful of this one is it isn't the most filling. So it's very good, like protein to calorie ratio. It's like 23 or 25 grams of protein, only 130 calories. So you could also have a Chobani Zero with it too. But the problem is that it's not very filling on its own. The Chobani Zero Sugars are filling, so if you combine it with the Chobani Zero Sugar, you should be good. But I have had some clients who had an issue where they couldn't just eat one serving. They wanted to eat two servings, and they ended up eating 260 calories and 40-something grams of protein, which is still not bad, but it is easy to overeat, just like, certain other snacks I'm going to talk about a little bit later. So I would be careful with this one, but what you could do is you could put it in the food processor and use it as breadcrumbs, healthy, high-protein, low-calorie breadcrumbs to add to like chicken, and then you can put it in the air fryer and you can make fried chicken that's low fat and has insanely good macros, like in crazy high protein, super low fat, crunchy, delicious, super low calorie, crunchy, delicious, absolutely everything you could ever want in a chicken nugget. That's way healthier than like regular fried chicken with like, glutinous breadcrumbs or deep fried or any of that other junk, right? So it has multiple uses, but yeah, Twin Peaks Protein Puffs, I really like it, even though I haven't had it. I haven't eaten it by itself in a very long time. I've just done it with like my chicken to make like high protein fried chicken. It's very good. But do be mindful because it does have some processed ingredients in it, like sunflower oil and like stuff like that. So like I said, these are not perfect, but they're definitely good snacks. And these are my top 5 snacks. And we've successfully used this with clients to see sustained long-term weight loss, as well as with myself to satisfy those cravings without ending up eating, some proper junk food. Okay. Now, bonus, I'm going to give you a 6th one, carrots. Now, carrots do not fit my golden rule because they don't have any protein, but they have very low in calories and they have a ton of fiber. They have hormonal benefits because of the fiber. They have digestion benefits because of the fiber, and they satisfy the crunch cravings. So sometimes I'll stack those with one of the other snacks. It also helps clean your palate because after you eat a carrot, it gets that yogurt taste out of your mouth, or that protein puffs or that Quest chips flavor out of your mouth. So you could combine it. You could eat like a king. You could eat a Chobani. You could have a Chobani Zero with Quest protein chips and a couple carrots, and it won't exceed 200 calories, and it'll be like 31 grams of protein, and you'll be super full afterwards, and you won't feel the need to snack anymore. And that is the golden snack. Well, it's one of the golden snack combos. So again, the point is you can combine these sometimes, whatever you got to do, because as long as we're fitting the golden rule. As long as we're fitting the golden rule, 200 calories maximum and at least 20 grams of protein, and that's my golden snacking rule. Now, I'm also going to share my golden protein to calorie ratio rule of thumb, which is that your diet should have a 1 to 10 protein to calorie ratio or better. Okay, so if the ratio is like 1 to 9, even better. If it's 1 to 8, even better. And this is the tool that you should use to vet recipes that you find online with ease. Okay, and this applies to any snack or meal you consume. So for every 1 gram of protein, it should have no more than 10 calories. So let's say that you see a recipe from somebody like Jalal Sam's Fit, which by the way, he has amazing recipes. They all fit this golden rule, except for like once in a while he'll post one that doesn't fit the rule, but even when it doesn't fit the rule, it barely doesn't fit the rule. Okay, there's a couple other guys who sometimes they post recipes that fit the rule, but a lot of the recipes don't fit it. Like there's this one guy, he does great recipes, Zach Chug Fit. However, a lot of his recipes don't fit this rule to where I prefer Jalal's recipes. There's also Razi Khan. He has some great recipes online, and most of them fit the rule. So again, you can find them, but if you want to vet some of the recipes you see online, just run that rule against them. So let's say you see something from Jalal that has 51 grams of protein and 455 calories. Boom, perfect for sustained weight loss. So you can definitely do it. However, if you see something from Zach Chug Fit that has 45 grams of protein but 600 calories, not ideal, okay? Because the calories are a little bit too high, so it's going to be kind of hard to fit it into your diet plan using the sort of diet plan rules I shared earlier. Now, again, A lot of people have successfully lost weight with Zach Chug's recipes, so I am not hating at all. I respect the amount of videos he puts out, and I respect the quality of the videos, the quality of the recipes, everything. I would love to collab with those guys. They're amazing. I have nothing but positive things to say. All I'm saying, though, is when you vet any recipe, no matter who it's from, if it has more than 10 calories for every gram of protein, it's going to be difficult to fit that into a high protein, low calorie, sustainable weight loss diet plan because the calories are a little bit too high to where the results are not going to be as ideal if the calories were a little bit lower. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying the recipes suck. I'm not saying they suck. I think they're great. I think the recipes are great, but some of the recipes could be a little bit better if we drop the calories a bit and up the protein a bit, which is actually easy to do. All you got to do is say, okay, cool. Did he maybe use a little bit too much oil and that's why it's 600 calories? Did he use a little bit too little chicken or too little shrimp and that's why the protein is so low? I can just bump it. Now, I'll share one more rule with you guys, which is that each meal, if you're trying to like, you know, because usually if you're in a deficit, like a lot of women will lose fat between 1,500 to 1,800 calories and a lot of men will lose fat between like 1,800 to 2,200 calories. Now, before everybody jumps on me and freaks out and says, oh, I eat less than that, or oh, I eat more than that, and I'm still losing weight, you're a scammer, you're a liar. No, I'm not saying that everybody loses fat in that little amount. I'm just saying 80% of people fall within those ranges. So for 80% of people, you know, let's say you're a woman trying to lose weight on 1,500 calories, and you have 3 meals a day, and each one has 500 calories, boom, that's it. Now, let's say that you want to fit a snack in, though, and you're trying to hit, you know, 1,500 calories, you could do one meal that's 500 calories and 2 meals that are 400 calories, so now you're at a total of 1,300 calories for the day, which means you could fit one of my 200 calorie snacks that fits the golden snacking rule, and now you're at 1,500. So you see how it's easy to make 1,500 work, where you get 3 meals and a snack. Let's say you're a man who's trying to lose weight on 2,200 calories a day, and you do 4 meals that are 500 calories each and 1 snack. Or let's say you do 3 meals and like 2 or 3 snacks, right? There's a lot of ways you can make 2,200 calories work. Let's say you're a man or woman losing weight on 1,800 calories a day, which is a very like common, you know, calorie number that a lot of people around that range, okay? You could do 3 meals that are 500 calories and 1.5 snacks that are 200, right? Or you could do one of the meals is only 400 calories, and then you end up doing 2 snacks that are 200, and you hit your 1,800. So you see how the numbers can be worked very easily when we follow these rules, the golden rule for your meals and for your snacks, and the 1-to-10 ratio. Because again, if you're a man losing weight on 1,800 calories, you should probably get at least 180 to 200 grams of protein a day. Now, I know some people are going to freak out and say, oh, you only need 0.7 per pound of body mass, or I learned my nutrition class, you only need 15% of your macros to be from protein, blah, 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 blah. Look, so studies have shown that men can get optimal results in muscle growth in as little as 0.7 grams per pound of lean body mass. However, the needs for protein are generally reported in studies to be higher during a fat loss phase to ensure that we're not losing muscle. You can go do your own research, but you know what's the best research? Instead of looking at a bunch of theoretical studies, just test it on your own body, because everybody's different. I know people who weigh the same as me, who have the exact same, very similar stats to me, who only need 180 grams of protein a day. Versus for me, I need like 250 plus grams of protein a day because I'm somebody who tends to need a little bit more protein than the average person my weight, where I weigh about 210 right now, okay? So everybody's different. So the best thing you do is test on yourself instead of just looking at a bunch of empirical, theoretical studies. Because yes, they are empirical, they are validated and tested with the scientific method, but within the subjects in that study, some of them were probably different from others. No two people are the same. SubhanAllah loves create us all different. So make sure that you test things on yourself using these rules as a rule of thumb. You might find that you can get away with eating 45 grams of protein and 600 calories per meal, and you still get optimal muscle growth, optimal fat loss. You don't lose muscle while you're losing fat, or while you're losing fat. If anything, you gain muscle while you're losing fat. You could have great genetics, okay? Or you might have terrible genetics where, and I'm not saying I have terrible genetics, and in some ways I have good genetics, but in other ways my genetics make it a little bit harder for me, where I do need to get more protein than the average person. Everybody's different, and that's all I'm trying to say. So don't hit me with your studies and theories and all that stuff that aren't grounded in actual client results and actual results for yourself. So if you're some keyboard warrior who doesn't have a physique, you know, look, if your physique's better than mine, you want to hate on me, that's fine. But if your physique isn't where my physique is at, then you really have no business telling me what is the truth based on some theoretical studies that you're regurgitating, okay? What you need to do is test some stuff on yourself, acquire some real knowledge, work with some real clients, and once you have hundreds of client results like I do, then we can have an educated discussion. I'm happy to have you on a podcast if you're a coach who has a bunch of results as well. Okay, so anyways, so the point is, after that long rant, keep all of these healthy snacks stocked in the house so that you aren't tempted to eat the unhealthy snacks that your kids have or the unhealthy snacks that somebody might bring you at work, okay? Now, I know another objection I'm going to get in the comments section is these snacks are expensive, they're pricey, I don't have the money for that, okay? And that's where I would have to ask you, you have to decide whether the results are worth it to you, Okay, and you can always find some cheaper alternatives. Like the fruit with protein shake is probably the cheapest one on the list there. I mean, it probably costs you less than $1 per serving, but the protein chips are probably like $3 per serving. The protein bars are like $3 per serving, right? So, it's up to you. You can choose the ones on there that fit your budget. And if you're kind of broke and you're saving up money right now, hey, I'm not judging you, but I'm just saying, do the cheaper options if you have to. But hey, if you got money, but you're just being cheap, even though you have the money for it, then you got to decide whether the results are worth it to you. And if they aren't, then we have bigger issues than not knowing how to snack. You have to make fitness more of a priority. Or if you don't want to make fitness a priority, then you're going to have to settle for the consequences of undervaluing your health. Now, that being said, though, I think that we as Muslims have an ethical duty to make more money. Why? And the way that we make the money needs to be ethical, and that we're serving and helping other people, and then we're getting paid to help and serve other people, whether it's working for a company and doing good work for that company and being the best worker and getting a bunch of promotions, making a ton of money because you get promoted to top position, or whether it's having a business that serves people at scale and does great things for your customers and clients. And because what you're offering is so valuable, you're able to charge high prices and people are happy to pay it and pay you more and sign up for more, services or buy more products from you because the products are so good, even though you're charging high end. Or you're able to offer great products at a cheap price, but you're able to sell it at scale and your margins are still good, and that's how you make money. Regardless of what path you use to make money, make sure it's an ethical way to make money, that you're helping people and you're not doing anything haram or illegal or harmful to others. And then work as hard as you possibly can. Okay, and again, I have some deep dives on how to make more money. It's not my area of expertise per se. I mean, I used to work for a business coaching company, so I do have some skills in it, more than an average person, but there are people who've dedicated their lives to teaching people how to make money, and I would recommend you study them. Like Alex Hormozi, for instance, he's somebody who's very good to study if you want to learn how to make more money. But the reason why we as Muslims need to make more money is why? Because guess what? Not only are there poor people in our Muslim ummah who need our money, not only are there people who the political narrative is being lied about them to try to oppress these people to where we need to be able to have the money and power to lobby against these people, right? And you already know who they are. If you're Muslim, you already know what the media is saying about us, right? Okay. And so we need to be able to lobby against that and have the financial resources to do so. But also the thing that really hit this home for me was the other day I was at the masjid and they were doing fundraiser for the graveyard because we ran out of graves. You know how much it costs for a grave to bury a Muslim with dignity? $12,000 just for the grave, $15,000 total. Okay. So you have to pay $15,000 just to die. And a lot of people don't die with $15,000 to where their families can't bury them with dignity, or they have to bury them in a cheaper cemetery 1 to 2 hours away. And that made me really sad. And unfortunately, when they were doing the fundraiser, not a lot of people raised their hands. Not a lot of people had the money to be able to donate. Okay, and I know it's right after Ramadan, so a lot of us have used a lot of our zakat budget. When I saw that, I realized, hey, we as Muslims have an ethical duty to make more money so that we can do positive things in the world. I'm not saying make more money so you can go buy Lambos and jets and all that stuff. I mean, look, if you have enough money to buy that, do it, but also donate just as much money to the poor, right, to help people, because that's what's going to really, help you on the day of judgment more so than the Lambos and jets. So don't do it for the materialism. Do it to help other people, and as a byproduct, you'll make enough money to also be able to provide a nice, comfortable life for yourself and your family. And at the very least, buy some healthy organic food and high-protein snacks, okay? It's my little rant on money today. Now, this video is coming up on an hour, so we're going to kind of wrap it up right now. And the last points I'm going to make that I promised you earlier in the video was, why do people regain the weight that they lost? So the reason is because they have not built a sustainable routine, habits, and nutrition plan, etc., and they don't know how to transition off. So the points I'm going to make on this is that a good weight loss plan is mostly sustainable, but there may be some short-term elements that are not 100% sustainable forever, right? However, the majority of the plan should be sustainable and build good long-term habits, such as understanding food labels, understanding calories, understanding protein, understanding stress management, and using physical exercise and walking as a means of stress management. Knowing how to make your favorite foods healthy and delicious, and building a connection between, hey, when I eat healthy, I feel good. When I eat junk food, I feel like crap. Therefore, I'm intrinsically motivated to eat healthy for the rest of my life because I want to have energy and feel good. And I don't even feel tempted to eat like crap because I don't want to feel like crap. Okay. So those are the things that we want to build that are going to succeed. They're going to help you succeed long term. The things that are only going to be short term, though, or maybe we do a little bit more cardio in the short term to lose the weight a little faster, but that doesn't mean you have to do cardio forever. It just means that you do it short term and then you transition off the cardio. Or maybe you go in a bit of a deeper deficit during the fat loss period, but at the same time, you don't have to be in a calorie deficit forever, because for maintenance, you can actually eat 500 more calories than you did in a deficit, depending on the severity of the deficit. But in most cases, you can eat an additional 500 calories every day and still maintain the weight that you lost. The problem is when people hyper restrict, and then when they're done with the diet, all they can think about is binging, and all they want to do is eat more food. And that's when they gain the weight back, because they feel the need to eat more than 500 calories more than what they did in deficit, because the deficit itself wasn't sustainable. So this is why it's very important that we set this up properly. And again, it's learning the low calorie, high protein, clean filling foods and exercise habits and all that stuff that helps you to keep the weight off with ease, and knowing how to reverse diet off the plan. So because this video is already an hour long, I am going to have to wrap it up, but I do have a 45-minute video on exactly how to reverse diet, so you know how to reverse diet after you finish a plan. I also have the program info video link below where I also briefly explain how we help our clients to reverse diet once they've lost the weight, so you understand how we can do this for you if you decide to work with us. But if you like are tight on money or you want to figure it out for yourself or whatever, I have obviously a 45-minute video on how to reverse diet if you want to do it on your own, right? And again, we do have to wrap up the video, so I'm not going to go super deep into the whole sustainability stuff, but I have covered it pretty much at length today, and I have other videos that go even more in depth with it, so see those if you want to learn more info on that. And the last point I promised you guys I was going to talk about today is, why are nuts and fruits not ideal for weight loss? Well, they can be. However, you probably already know the answer if you're watching this video, which is that they're too high in calories and not high enough in protein. But again, I have a big however attached to that, because there is a way to eat nuts and fruit every single day and still lose weight and actually have it be a part of a healthy and sustainable weight loss plan, okay? Because nuts are healthy. They have polyunsaturated fats. Just the problem with nuts is that they have so many calories and they're very easy to overeat. So if you don't track them, it's easy to overeat them and ruin your deficit, get yourself out of a deficit and not lose weight. So if you're going to eat nuts, you have to track and count them, and you can easily search up how many calories in 1 ounce of nuts, right? So like, let's say you like walnuts, you search up how many calories are in one ounce of walnuts, and then you search up on Google how many nuts are in 1 ounce, how many walnuts are in 1 ounce of walnuts, and then the answer is 7. And the answer for the calories one is like 180 or 190 calories. So if you want to eat less than 200 calories of walnuts, you just have to eat 7 walnuts. Okay. Now on the flip side, pistachios, you can eat like 40 something or 30 or 40 something pistachios, and that's still under 200 calories. So not all nuts are created equal. And double check that, because I know the pistachio number sounds really high. Every time I say it, I doubt it. I'm like, man, I need to double check this. So double check it. But every time I double check it, it's accurate, but double check it. And then what you want to do is, let's say you say, okay, cool. Well, my protein shake is 125 calories and 25 grams of protein, and I want to make sure that I'm not just eating the nuts without protein. So what if I do like 10 pistachios and 1 scoop of protein powder? Boom. If you do 10 pistachios and 40 is 200 calories, that means that 10 pistachios is only 50 calories, plus 125 calories and 1 scoop of protein is 175 calories, plus 25 grams of protein in the shake. Now we fit the parameter of under 200 calories over 20 grams of protein, because the total for the 10 pistachios plus 1 scoop of protein equals 175 calories and 25 grams of protein. Therefore, that's how you can fit pistachios in your meal plan and lose weight. Now with walnuts, you would have to do less. You'd have to do like 3 walnuts would be like 70 calories. So you add that to 125 calories from protein shake, it's 195, so we're under 200, and we're getting 25 grams of protein from the protein shake. And yes, nuts have a little bit of protein in them, but it's so little that I don't even count it. I'm just counting the protein in the shake. So 25 grams of protein, 195 calories if you do 3 walnuts and 1 scoop of protein. Double check that on Google, just because I'm remembering numbers off the top of my head, and I'm very precise in OCD with client meal plans, so I always double check them. But you know, I'm one of those people who like double checks, even though I double check and it always ends up being right. But the point is, you just have to count the calories, okay? So that's it. Count the calories in them and pair them with a protein source, just like how we did with the fruit, okay? Again, though, the thing with nuts is that they are more calorie dense than fruit and they're easier to overeat. So again, as I just said, be careful and portion them out beforehand. Now I'm going to share one last story before we wrap it up, which is I have a friend who did a bodybuilding show while eating hot Cheetos every single night. And this is an extreme example of portioning it out. And what did he do? He had a tiny bag. You know, there's like, you know how they have those sandwich bags that are this big? He got the sandwich bags that are like this big. And what he did was he put a bunch of hot Cheetos in the tiny sandwich bag to where it was like 190 calories or 200, or maybe it was 125 calories. And he would eat that at the end of the night. And he was already eating a ton of meat, like 300 grams of protein every single day, to where he didn't even need to combine the protein with it, because he was already like, he was having it after dinner, which his dinner had like 50 grams of protein anyways, or 60 grams of protein, to where he didn't have to add protein to it. But he was able to eat hot Cheetos every single night and still get to like 4 to 6% body fat and do a bodybuilding show. Now, the one thing I will mention though is this guy does have good genetics, okay? But even though he had good genetics, he still had to be in a calorie deficit to get to 4 to 6% body fat, okay? Because you can't defy the laws of physics. Like the whole calorie deficit thing is a law of thermodynamics, which is one of the laws of physics. You can't defy the law of physics. If I put this water bottle in the air, it's gonna fall, right? It's gonna fall. You can't defy the laws of physics if I throw this water bottle in the air. So, like likewise, you can't avoid having a calorie deficit even if you have great genetics. However, it's a lot easier to get in deficit if you have great genetics because your body, your metabolism is fast, you naturally burn more calories per day, so it's easier to get in deficit, all that stuff. But regardless of how good your genetics are, you still have to be in a deficit. But the point of me sharing this example is a good example of how you can fit stuff into your plan as long as your total for the day and for the week is still in a deficit. Now, the one caveat that I'll add to that, though, is most of our metabolisms and digestion aren't as forgiving as his is, to where if I ate hot Cheetos, I'd be super bloated, I'd feel like crap, and it would come out the other side in a very unpleasant way. So that's why I avoid hot Cheetos. Plus, I'm pretty sure that there's like a ruling that there's like enzymes in the hot Cheetos that are like haram or something like that, depending on which madhab you follow. But regardless, my point is, as long as you portion it out, as long as you follow the rule on like calories, protein, all that stuff, you can theoretically fit anything into your meal plan. That doesn't mean that you should, but you can. And again, the second aspect of the golden rule is make sure it's not something that makes you bloated. So if you're able to eat something decadent that doesn't make you bloated and you fit the rules, you'll lose weight even eating decadent foods. However, if you're somebody like myself, or you've noticed that as you've gotten older, your digestive system isn't as forgiving when you eat decadent foods, then you should probably avoid it because you want to avoid that bloat for the reasons I described earlier about hormones, digestion, all that stuff. And that's it. So anyways, managed to get the video in only 1 hour and 5 minutes. So alhamdulillah. Last thing I wanted to say is I hope this helped. You may have some questions on some of the stuff I talked about, so please comment down below if you have any questions, and I'll get back to them as soon as I can, inshallah. And please share this video with a friend if you found it useful, insightful, and helpful. If you know anybody who also needs to lose weight, or you have a family member who's like snacking on 100 pistachios a day, who needs to understand how calorie deficit works, or somebody who's always buying these new healthy marketed things at Trader Joe's but doesn't understand that they have too many calories and too little protein and they're making them bloated, which is why they're not losing weight even though they're eating healthy. Okay, please share it with a friend or family member who struggles with this so you can help them out and you'll get good deeds for helping them out. Now, the second of 3 things that I want to conclude with today is this might have been a lot of information and you might feel that you're going to have some struggle customizing and implementing this to yourself, and you feel like you don't really have the time to figure this out and watch all my other videos and all that other stuff. And maybe you're thinking about, hey, maybe I should just hire Munir and he'll get this sorted out for me and all that stuff, right? So if that's you and you don't have the time to figure this out and you'd rather pay somebody to get this sorted out for you, the program link is in the description here on YouTube. So go ahead and click that info link. Let me know if there's any issues with it in the comments. We're actually switching our website servers right now, so there might be like a brief period where the website is down, but tap the link if you're interested. If the link works, great. If it doesn't, comment. But the link usually works. Again, we're just switching website servers, inshallah, later this week. And if you're watching this like months later, then you'll have no issues with the website because we would have already transferred the server. But yeah, the link is below to learn more about our program. If again, that's you and it makes more sense for you to just hire us to figure this out for you instead of taking the time to figure it out for yourself. However, if money is tight, we put out all this free content to help the Ummah for free because there are a lot of people who can't afford to work with us. So please do share this information with friends and family if you found it helpful, and that will also help me to go more viral and reach more people with the algorithm. So you're going to get a lot of good deeds for everybody who this helps, inshallah. So anyways, it's funny. I always say I want to make it short, but it always ends up being longer. And then I always make a joke and comment about how it was a bit of a long one. So a bit of a long one, but I hope it was insightful. I hope it was worth it. If you're still watching, it probably was. Inshallah, I'll see you in the next video. And again, anything you ever need, comment down below. And inshallah, I'll see you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum.